On 18 March 1921, the Treaty of Riga ended the war between Poland and the Russian Socialist Federative Soviet Republic, which later became known as the Soviet Union. It established the eastern border of Poland until the Soviet invasion of 17 September 1939. Negotiations had gone on for more than 6 months. In this photograph we can see the Polish delegation arriving in Riga for the initial ceasefire talks. General Mieczysław Kulinski is in the center as the representative of the Polish Supreme Command. This photograph shows the very first meeting of the delegations seeking to find a peace treaty. The Polish side is on the right and the Soviet side on the left. There were also various sub-commissions. Here, for example, we see the Legal Commission. In this photograph we can see the Polish delegation on the right and the Soviet side have their backs to the photographer. The Polish government had earlier promised its Ukrainian allies not to make a separate peace. It however conducted negotiations without them and ignored their agreement with them when it came to the peace treaty, leaving them to be swallowed by the Soviets. Polish military leader Józef Pilsudski was utterly disgusted with this behavior. He apologized profusely to Ukrainian troops in Poland, but he was in charge in the field, not in Warsaw. Poland as a country had been broken up by 3 divisions of its territory between its neighbors Russia, Austria and Prussia during the 18th century. Poland regained its independence as a result of the First World War, but the exact location of the borders needed to be settled. At the Paris peace talks, the Polish side presented this map showing where it claimed Polish people lived. The red line shows the border proposed. Red shows a Polish majority population. Pink shows a Polish minority population of 1/3 or more, and the other colors lower amounts of Poles. It also shows Poles living outside the proposed borders as spots. It needs to be pointed out that some areas were inhabited by a mixture of peoples, not only Poles but also Ukrainians, Belarusians, Jews and even Germans and Czechs. At Paris, a border was proposed by Lord Curzon which came to be known as the Curzon Line. This left millions of Polish-speaking people on the eastern side. In the meantime, the breakup of Imperial Russia and the civil war in that country created a fluid situation. The war that broke out between Poland and the Bolsheviks had taken both sides almost to victory. The Poles had got as far east as Kiev and the Soviets to Warsaw, and even in places across the German border. As you can see from this map, the border agreed at Riga was very similar to that of the Second Partition of Poland, where the yellow line represents the border after the Second Partition and the red the Treaty of Riga. Both sides agreed that the border was final and that neither side would claim land on the other side of the border. The USSR broke this part of the treaty in 1939 and even during World War II refused a return to the borders of the Treaty of Riga. Article 4 agreed that both sides respected the political sovereignty of the other and not to meddle in its internal affairs. This appears to be a de facto acceptance of Bolshevik rule by the Polish side, although the very existence of the Comintern suggests that the USSR had no intention of keeping this point. Anyone who did not like where they were living could opt to move or acquire the citizenship of the neighboring state. Furthermore, both countries agreed that everyone had free intellectual development, the use of their national language and the exercise of their religion. Points within the peace treaty included 30 million gold rubles compensation for Poland for its contribution to the Russian Empire. Poland also received locomotives and rolling stock to the value of 29 million gold rubles. Works of art taken from Poland after 1772 were to be returned. Both sides renounced claims to war compensation. Article 3 stipulated that border issues between Poland and Lithuania would be settled by those states. The Western Allies had provided for the border of Poland to be on the Curzon Line. However, they came round to accepting the border within 2 years. Whereas there were hundreds of thousands of Polish-speaking people living to the east of the new border, there were also several million Ukrainian and Belarusians living within the new border. This was to prove a major problem, particularly during the Second World War. Nonetheless, it also needs to be pointed out that the Soviet Union was also multi-ethnic. On this channel, we shall be looking at more aspects of recent Polish history.